So yeah, hello and welcome to the live webinar. So yeah, this webinar is recorded, so you can always catch up the replay, but I'm gonna only give the replay for 24 hours. So make sure then you grab the replay as fast as possible. And we're gonna have these live webinars, and I'm gonna start with this topic, 10 mistakes beginners make in SolidWorks and how to avoid them. And I'm gonna change topics, right? Depends what people want. Okay, let me see. Comic. Depends what students people want, and then we're gonna talk about these topics. So yeah, today is gonna be 10 mistakes beginners make in SolidWorks and how to avoid them. Now, before we get into this, just want to introduce myself. Like, if you don't know me, like if you're new to my email list or new into my community, my name is Alan. I'm a mechanical engineer, also SolidWorks certified professional. And over, let's say, 4 or 5 years, I enrolled over 48,000 students into my SolidWorks courses with average rating 4.5 out of 5. I help them to get engineering jobs, uh, become designers, pass certification exams, CSWA, CSWP. And yeah, this is what I help in my courses. These courses are on the Udemy, but I improve these courses and put them on my own platform. No, if you stay till the end, you're going to get a bonus. I'm going to tell you what this bonus is. But now I want to start actually getting into these 10 mistakes. Okay. Now, this is more for the beginners. If you started using SolidWorks, you started learning SolidWorks, this is going to help you. Know, if you're more advanced, maybe that's not going to be so much interesting to you. But yeah, it's more tailored for the beginners and intermediate users. So the first one is overusing dimensions instead of relations. So let me give you an example. So if you have some kind of a sketch, right? Most of the people, like beginners, again, what they do, they start putting dimensions immediately, right? They start putting dimensions, and then they just have a lot of dimensions. And then it's very messy, and it's very hard to then control your dimensions, but also when you have to change something, you have to go back and change, certain dimensions, then sketch kind of a, break, you have to repair, and all of these things. So the first thing that you should do once you have the sketch, you should define relations, right? Relations between sketch entities. And sketch entities are lines, circles, arcs, and so on. So for example, I have a sketch here, and I have to put dimensions here, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to see, okay, what are the relations here important? For example, I can say that this line here and this must be parallel, right? So I'm not going to come here to the smart dimensions and then put, for example, 60 degrees here and 60 degrees here, because now I have two dimensions and I can have only one, right? So, and then later, if I have to change this, I have to change two dimensions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this line, hold Control in this line. And then here on the left side, I have relations, right? I have horizontal, vertical, collinear, perpendicular, and then also parallel. And when I put this, click here actually, I have here this sign, which is parallel. Now these two are parallel. And now what happens? If I put a dimension here, I just need to put here angle on the one, right? And now if I change this angle, automatically both of them will change. Then also, for example, what you can do, I want that this point here and these are on the in this point here are on the horizontal line. So what's gonna happen? I can just click here, hold Control here, and just go horizontal. And now we have this. Okay, we can move this up. Like this. And now this horizontal, that means if I move this one, automatically, as you can see, this one here is moving, right? The same thing I can say, okay, I want that this line, the length of this line will be equal to this one. And then I can go here with equal, like this. Also, I can say, okay, I want that this line, this point, and this point will be vertical, right? And now they are on the vertical line. Now, if I move this, they're gonna always move together, right? Like this, horizontally. So once you put all of these relations that you know that you must like, that you know that you're gonna have, then you start with dimensions, right? Because now it's much easier to control the whole sketch. So if you have to change something, you have much more clear sketch and the sketch will not break, right? So that's the first mistake. And this is how you do it. You just use here relations. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is ignoring coordinate system. So let me show it. Let me just open here. So basically what happens is when a lot of people start creating a sketches, they just start creating sketches like this, anywhere in this space, right? And they put all of the dimensions, they put everything, but they don't have the fixed point. You must have the fixed point, right? You must have the reference point, and according to this point, everything else changes. For example, like here, we have here coordinate system, the origin, right? And we see here, we have here coincident relation. So what you want to do, you want to start, you want to figure out, okay, if I'm going to create this model, if I'm going to create this sketch, what part of the model, it's kind of the base, the foundation, is the reference point, because that must be an origin. Then according to this, everything else will change, either relations, either dimensions, right? So that's why you have to pay attention. Okay, for example, I can give example here. You can, for example, create a rectangle where you can say, okay, the origin will be here, right? And then all other dimensions will change according to this origin. Or you can say, I'm going to have this. I'm going to have origin in the middle, right? So, but you must put it somewhere. And that really depends, like, what kind of model you're building, right? So that's very important. If you just put it on the random place, you can fully define sketch, or you can even put it dimensions here from the origin to this model, but this is all messy, right? So yeah, that's the mistake number two. It's not using coordinate system. It's not using the origin, right? And this is very important from the design perspective. Like you have to know, okay, what are my main dimensions? What is my reference point, reference base in the model? And based on this, I'm going to decide where I'm going to put my origin. So that seems maybe obvious, but like a lot of beginners go through that and make this mistake. Mistake number three is not fully defined sketches. So let me show you. So when it comes to the sketches, there are three possible outcomes. You have under-defined sketch, you have fully defined sketch, and you have over-defined sketch. So right now, this sketch is under-defined. So I have here written under-defined sketch, right? That means that I didn't put enough dimensions and relations, and my sketch is not fixed. As you can see, I can move it, right? And you can see the lines, sketch entities that are blue, I can move them. This one here is black. That means that I can't move it. I can change the length because this point still is not black, but as you can see, it's fixed into the origin. So when lines sketch is blue, it's under-defined. When it's black, it's fully defined. When it's yellow, it's over-defined. So let me show you. So first thing, if I want to fully define this sketch, I can say, okay, this line here and this line here will be parallel and will be, let's say, okay, let's just click okay, parallel. Then we can say, okay, this line here, this point here and point here will be vertical like this. And then I can say this point here and this point here will be horizontal like this. And let me see what else I can do. And then I can say the length of this one and this one will be equal, let's say like this. And now I can put some dimensions, right? I can put a dimension of this one. So this is the length. I can put a dimension of this arc. Okay, that's too much. Actually, this is not possible. I have to put a dimension of this angle. Okay, let me just select the point. Angle like this. Okay, let me see what else we have to put dimensions. Let's see what is not fixed. Okay, so what we have to define is this height. And now what happens, you can see here, we have fully defined. The whole sketch is black and we have fully defined sketch, right? So this is the second outcome. And this is what we want to have when we build sketches. Now we can use this to create 3D model. No, what happens if I put a dimension here, another one? The SolidWorks, the sketch will become yellow. And SolidWorks will show me this message. It will says that adding this dimension will make the sketch overdefined or unable to solve. And now he gives me option. He gives me option that I can make this dimension driven or driving. What's the difference? Driving dimension means it's the main dimensions that affect the sketch. Driven dimensions means that you can only read it, right? If I choose driving dimension, I click OK. I see that I have overdefined sketch and now it's yellow. So this is not good. But what I can do is I can go here, put it again, and I'm going to choose driven and click OK. Now the sketch is fully defined. There is no mistakes. But this one here, this dimension, you can see it's gray. It's not black, it's gray. That means it's driven dimension. It means I can only read this dimension. Okay, so that's the difference between under-defined sketch, fully defined sketch, over-defined sketch. And you always want to have fully defined sketch. So that's about defining the sketch. Then we have mistake number 4, not using reference geometry. So what is this? So let's go to a little bit more advanced things. So what most of the beginners do is when they create a 3D model and when they start building this model up, they start creating sketches on these faces of the model, right? Which sometimes is good, but sometimes that's not the best solution. That's why we have here in SolidWorks what we call reference geometry, right? Here we have planes, we have axes, we have points. So I can create my own plane, and then on this plane, I can create a sketch that's going to be much easier to create than using these faces here. So for example, I can create something like this. I can go with a, let me show you. I can go with a point. I can create some point, and I can say this point will be on this edge here, for example. Okay, let me just go again, somewhere here, like this. Let's click OK. So now I have this point. Then I say, okay, I'm going to create some axis. It's going to go from this vertex to this one here. And let's click OK. Now we have this axis, and I'm going to create a plane. And I'm going to say this plane will go through this axis, and we'll have an angle on this face, 60 degrees, like this. Let's click OK. And now I have this plane, and I can use this plane to create a sketch. So depends what you have to create in your model. You can create different planes, right? And I can use this plane. I can go to the sketch, and I can create something like this. Let's say like this. I'm going to just go fully define sketch. Let's click OK, like this. I'm going to go to the features. I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to up to, I can go up to the surface. I'm just going to go different direction. Select this. Let's click OK. And now I created this, right? And this is much easier to create when you define your own plane, right? Your own reference geometry. And then try to create this by having the sketch on this face. right? So when you know how to use this plane, this axis and point, then you can create sketches much more efficiently, much more easier, and your model, it looks much more simple, right? So when you have to change something later, it's much easier to change because you use these reference geometries. So you can use planes as you see, you can use axes, you can use like points. And when you have this axis, so let me show you, then you have these planes, you have different options here, right? You can go with parallel to something, you can go perpendicular, the plane will be perpendicular to face. I put here 60 degrees, right? Now if I have to change this, I can put, okay, I want 45 degrees, right? And now automatically everything is rebuilt, as you can see, right? Now it's 45 degrees. So it's much easier to change when you have to change something when you define your own planes. So this is mistake number 4. Mistake number 5, not reusing existing sketches. Okay, this is also a little bit more advanced. Not advanced for the existing SolidWorks users, but advanced for the beginners. But like a lot of people, beginners, just create a sketch after sketch after sketch and then turn these sketches into 3D models, right? Using features. But I think is you can have one sketch and you can reuse this sketch with multiple tools, right? Let me show you. So we have this sketch here, right? I'm gonna select this sketch. I'm gonna go to the extrude boss base. So I'm gonna extrude this, right? But what happens is I can use the whole sketch, or I can go here to the selected contours. I can clear this. And now if I select this and I go with a mouse here, as you can see, I can select different contours of the sketch, right? Because here we have, look, this and this, right? Lines. I can select these 4 contours. I can select all, or I can just select 1 or 2 or 3. And now based on this, I can select this one. Okay, I have to define here this one, and I can just extrude this one, right? And now if I want to use this sketch again for some different feature characteristics, I can just open this, select the sketch one, and use another tool again. And now I can say, okay, what I want now, I want to extrude this not to 10, but to 50, right? And I can click OK, like this. And as you can see here, I have 2 sketches. I have one sketch, but 2 sketches, right? But this is the same sketch, sketch 1 and sketch 1, used by different feature. I can go on. I can just click sketch, extrude boss base, and now I can select different contour. I can select this one here, and I can say, okay, I want to extrude to different direction. I want to put some draft, let's say 5 degrees, like this. Let's click OK. Now we have this, right? Again, is the same sketch, sketch 1. You select again, go to extrude boss base, select contour, this one here. You can say, okay, I want to go within feature. Let's go to opposite direction like this. Let's click OK. Now we have this, right? As you can see, I have 4 features now. 1, 2, 3, 4, but I have the same sketch. In this way, I made everything simple. I didn't have to create 4 sketches. I have to use less memory. And when I have to change something, it's much easier to change, right, in the sketches, because I have used only one sketch. And most of the beginners would do, they would start creating 4 different sketches, right? That takes more time, takes more memory. And later when you have to change something, it's much more difficult to change. So yeah, this is mistake number 5. Now let's go to mistake number 6, ignoring material and mass properties. So when you build a model, right, what you want to do is you want to define material, right? And how you can define material. So here on the left side, you have feature manager design tree, and here you have material. You can right click on this material and you can go edit material. Okay, so this is where you're gonna select material. And now you have here steel, iron, aluminum alloys, copper alloys, titanium alloys, and so on, plastic, right? Silicons, rubber, woods, anything you want. You select which material you want and go with apply. And now what we have, now we have here material, as you can see. Because now if you want to calculate the mass, right? How am I going to calculate the mass? I'm going to go here to the mass properties. And now I have here mass, right? Because sometimes you'll have to, especially if you go on the exams or you build some project, you have to calculate the mass. Now we have 3,270 grams. But if I change this material or you didn't add material, this mass will not be the same. A lot of people forget to apply the material. And now you can see if I go to mass again, now I change to the alloy steel, now it's different mass. And the same thing is about a coordinate system. Like when you have to calculate center of the mass, for example, which like if you're gonna go to the certification exams, you're gonna have to calculate mass and center of mass, this one here, in most of the tasks, right? Sometimes you have to calculate center of mass relative to the origin, but sometimes you have to calculate center of the mass relative to the coordinate system you define. You know, for example, what you can do is you can define your own coordinate system, reference geometry, coordinate system. We're going to just put it here like this. Let's click OK. And now we have this new coordinate system. Now I can go here to the mass properties. And here I have center of the mass. But this center of the mass is relative to the origin. If I want to calculate center of the mass relative to the coordinate system, I have to go here, choose coordinate system 1, which is this one I created. And now the center of the mass is different, as you can see, right? So these are two things that are not difficult, but like you have to pay attention. And this is like coordinate system, when you calculate center of the mass, and also material, right? So you have to pay attention to these two things. So this is mistake number 6. Mistake number 7 is not using patterns, right? So this is when you have instances that repeat, right? And then like if you go one instance, you create one instance separately after another, that's going to take you a lot of time, right? So for example, you can use these patterns in the sketching. You can use these patterns also in the in using with features, right? When you create 3D models. So we have this circle, and now we want to have 10 another circles down the line. Now you can go here and go circle by circle, but that's going to take a lot of time. What you want to do, you want to go here to the linear sketch pattern, select the axis. It's going to be this one, right? Because we want down the horizontal line. Then what we want to do, we want to select entities we want to pattern. This one here. Let's go to different direction here. And now we have to choose what's going to be the distance. Let's go 50. And how many instances? We can go with 10, right? As you can see here now. Let's click OK. And now here we have 10 instances, right? And that it didn't take a lot of time. But if you would create this one after another, it would take a lot of time. But also, no later when I have to change something, automatically everything will change accordingly, right? If we change one, another one will also change. You just want to define here relation horizontal to make sure this works. Now, you can use this with sketching, but also you can now go to the features. We can extrude this like this. Let's click OK. And also we can use this to create a pattern here as well, right? So for example, you can go here to the circular pattern direction. You're going to select this, features to pattern, like this, right? Now we can go also in circular pattern, but also with the features, right? Let's click OK. Now here is the error because what I've done, I used features, and these are not features, these are bodies. So I have to go here to the bodies, right? So that's very important. And I have to select the bodies that I want to use circular pattern, right? And how this works. So this way, if I have a lot of instances that are the same, whether that's in sketching, whether that's in when I create a 3D model, I can save a lot of time just by using either circular pattern or linear pattern. Okay, so that's going to save you a lot of time. The next one is not using equations. Now, this is also maybe a little bit more advanced for us, for the beginners, but it's very simple. What it means by equations, it means if you know that one dimensions is in the relation with other dimensions, you can define that. And then later, when you have to change something, one dimensions, you have to change only one dimensions, other dimensions will automatically change based on these relations that you defined, right? So let me show you. So here we have equations, as you can see, this folder. And now it's empty. So what you can do is, you can just go here to the tools, the easiest way to get there. In here you have equations. Now we can define some global variables. We have A, and we can say, okay, this global variable will be 50 millimeters. Then we can go with a B. Okay, the B will be A plus 20. So this is equation now, right? Then we can go with a C that will be, let's say, we can say A plus B minus 10, for example, right? So now we define some global variables and equations. And now when we have to put dimensions, so let me show you here in the sketch, edit sketch, we have here, so let's go here to smart dimensions. So we have to say, okay, this dimension will be A. So go here, equals global variable, and I can choose here A, B, or C. I'm going to go with A. This one here, I'm going to put it as equal B, right? And now what happens? If I change one dimensions here, right, automatically other dimensions will change. I'm going to show you this, but let's go to the feature now. Let's extrude this. And when I define here the extrusion depth, I can also use global variables instead of number, right? So I can go, instead of putting directly millimeters, I can go global variables, and I can go here to the C. And now what happened? I got this model, right? And now here on the left side, if I open this folder, now I have these global variables and equations. If I want to change something, dimensions, I just simply go here, right click, manage equations. And I say, okay, I want now that A will be 30, right? And now you can see automatically this changed. This is now smaller. And also if you want to change relations between these global variables, you can go manage equations and you can say, okay, I don't want that B will be A plus 20. I want that B will be A plus 50. I can change this and automatically this will be rebuilt, right? And that's how, when you have a lot of dimensions that one depends on another, what can happen is like you just define these global variables, equations, which define relations between variables, and then you can easily change these things, right? You don't have to go one by one and change each dimension separately. So this is mistake number 8. Mistake number 9 is not using feature scope. Now, this is a little bit more advanced, but it's very, very useful tool. Let me just open this. So what is used feature scope? Feature scope is not a tool, like it's not a separate tool. It's, let's say, feature inside of the tool. So for example, we want to create a hole, circular hole on this part and this part. right? But we want to create in a way that we only use one sketch. Yeah, it's easy to go here, create a sketch, go extrude, create a sketch here, go extrude. But we want to use only one sketch. And you can do this by using feature scope. So for example, I can just create a sketch here. I can go here, take a circle, just put it here, smart dimensions, go like this. Let's click OK. And that's it. And now I can use extrude, right? So I can go here to the features, extrude cut, and I can go through wall. But what's going to happen if I go through wall? I'm gonna get a hole on all 5 parts. I don't want that. I want the hole only on this one and this one here. So how I'm gonna change that? So I can go here to extrude, edit feature, and down here we have the feature scope. And now we have here selected all bodies, right? I can delete this and I can just select, okay, which bodies do I want that this feature will affect? And now you can choose, okay, I want this one and this one. Let's click OK. And now we have only hole on this one and this one here. If I want to change this, I can just go here, edit feature again, and I can say, okay, right click, delete. I can say, okay, I want this one, and this one. Let's click OK. And now I have a hole only on this one, and this one, right? So this way also you just save a lot of time because you create one sketch and that's it, right? So it's very, very easy. So that's feature scope. You have it under the extrude tool. And the last one is mistake number 10, not knowing how to properly insert parts into assemblies. So let me show you how to do this on the quickest and the easiest way. So you open SolidWorks and you open assembly file. So, okay, let's close everything. Now, the mistake that people do is they just go here to the insert and you have to find here, okay, what I'm gonna insert. Okay, here is the part 1. I'm gonna select part 1. And what's gonna happen now? They have part 1 and they're gonna just leave it here. But now once you leave the part 1 like this, you don't know where this part is in the space relative to the origin. So now if you try to move it, you can't. And the reason for that is because you can see here part 1, and here's in the brackets you have F, which means it's fixed. What you can do is right click here and go float. And now I can move this. But I still don't know where is my coordinate system, right? No, you can go here to this side, click here, and go here, show origin, view origin. Now we see it's here. And I can go here, for example, to the mates, and I can say, okay, I want that this point and this point will be coincident, like this, and click OK. And now I inserted my first part correctly. You can do like this, but this takes more time. There's one simpler way how you can do this, and I'm going to show you to now. Let's delete this part. And this is when you create assembly file, you come here and just make sure you have your origin, because now we have an origin here. Now let's go to the insert component, and we can go with a part 1. And now we can move it and leave it anywhere we want. Now if you go with mouse over this origin, automatically this part will switch into the origin. You will see it like you come here, near here, boom, automatically just come to the origin, right? And you just leave it here. That's it. And now that's it. That's how you literally insert your part correctly into the SolidWorks. And now when you have another part to insert, just go here, select part 2. You can just leave it anywhere. And now you have to define relations. You just go here to the mate, And okay, I'm gonna go here to the advanced. I'm gonna use profile center. I'm gonna say, okay, I want this face right in the center of this. Like this, let's click OK. And now these two are connected. I can rotate this, but they are connected, right? So basically, this is how correctly you start inserting parts into the origin. Just make sure you go here to the view origin, and then just insert part one. And once you go with the mouse over that origin, it will switch directly to this origin. So basically, this is the mistake number 10. And yeah, if you use this techniques I show you, that's gonna speed up your process. You're gonna be designed much faster, easier. When you have to change something, then it's gonna be much easier and faster. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can put it into the chat. And also, what I'm gonna do, like here, the bonus you're gonna get, I'm gonna give SolidWorks beginner blueprint. This is step-by-step guide that shows you which tools actually matter, in what sequence to learn them, and how the real designer think before the model. So I'm going to send you also this blueprint as a bonus. Now, if you want to go to the next level, depends what is your goal with a SolidWorks, whether, okay, maybe you're a hobbyist, maybe you want to level up your career, maybe you want to get into CAD design. The fastest way, like if you want to go there, the fastest way, I have a SolidWorks Pro Accelerator. And from right now, after this session, we'll be on the discount. So this is if you want to become top tier SolidWorks designer. In 8 to 12 weeks, you got a lifetime access, but 8 to 12 weeks you can get there. We're going to help you learn the skills, build portfolio, earn certifications, and develop job ready skills that are important, right? So just to give you a few information about this, if you're interested about this, who is this program for? So if you're a beginner and want to learn SolidWorks the right way, this is for you. Maybe you tried YouTube, didn't work for you, then this is for you. If you want to pass certification exams, CSWA, CSWP, this is for you, okay? You want to build portfolio, this is for you. You want to earn more, get better job, or have more job options, this is for you. No, this is not for you, this program. If you are advanced and you learn and you're searching for some advanced tips and tricks, right? Then this program is not for you, right? You're not going to find it very beneficial, okay? So once you go through this course, you'll be able to model real manufacturable parts. You'll be able to build assemblies that I show you, right? Create professional drawings. You'll be able to pass certification exams. You'll be able to build a portfolio of real projects. You'll be able to work independently without guessing your way through SolidWorks. So basically, in the program, you're going to have 9 courses. Essential, SolidWorks Essential. Then you're going to have advanced part modeling tools, configurations, design tables, and so on. You're going to have assembly design, where we're going to teach you 2 ways of building assemblies, bottom up and top bottom, and all the different mates, advanced mates, basic mates, how to connect parts. Then also how to create manufacturing ready drawings, how to create complex designs using surfacing tools, how to use sheet metal tools, how to analyze your results, stress, strain, deformation using static analysis, how to render to create real world photos, right? Photorealistic images, and also animations. So you can make a presentation about your mechanism, and also how to pass SolidWorks certification, associate exam, and also professional exam, right? So basically, you're going to get lifetime access to this, 9 courses, 50 plus examples, so you practice on, 60 plus exercises you have to do by yourself, certification exam for preparation, portfolio project framework, and also you're going to be part of the private community where on a daily basis you can ask any questions. So like literally everything that you need about SolidWorks, like it's here, right? So over 48,000 students went through these courses, and now also you can access to this. It's even more improved, Now, usually to put together, it's $97. For the next 5 days, will be 50% discount. So you can get it for $497, or you can go with a payment plan, 3 times of 197. Okay. Also, if you go in for the next 24 hours, you're gonna get a bonus, and this is one-on-one session with me. Okay. No guarantee. You can check out the course. You get in. If you don't like it, you don't find it beneficial, after inside of 30 days, no question asked, you can get money back. Okay. 1 second. I have to charge my laptop. So yeah, there is no risk for you. You can check it out. You don't find it beneficial. You can get out of the course. I can give you money back. But yeah, this is it. I'm gonna put this now on the discount from today and then next 5 days. If you enroll in the 24 hours, you get a bonus one-on-one session with me, like this, and we can talk about in SolidWorks, show in SolidWorks specifically whatever you want. And also, this replay will be available 24 hours from now after this session. Now, if you have any questions here, you can post it here. You can send me an email. But yeah, this is it. We're going to have these sessions more and more. They're going to be different topics, and I'm going to announce them in advance. So yeah, thank you for watching this, and see you in another session. Bye.